Hey, this is Verb. I just want to talk briefly about this patch, specifically how it affects Xiukai. I'm not going to go into detail on the whole thing. This is just mostly going to be for Xiukai Discord server and as a reference for my Xiukai video, since there are some pretty significant changes coming to Xiukai this patch. I'm going to go over those changes and then look at the patch overall a little bit and just go into like sort of what other changes are going to affect him. I think it's a good change. I'll get into more like as I go into it a bit more. So the first thing, and the reason that they did this change for Xiukai, or why they put it out now, is that they reduced the cooking time, the crafting time, I guess, for making food and drinks by about 1/3 across the board. Not exactly, but decent time reduction. So you're going to be able to cook stuff faster, which means you're going to have more time free to do stuff like farm mastery or make transition pieces and things that Xiukai wasn't really able to do before. So along with that change, they are reworking Xiukai's passive. And I thought it was up at the top, but no, here we go. So they're changing the passive. It's going to be capping out at 150 stacks now. You will not, hit 250, 300 stacks in a game and just own the lobby by cooking, right? You're only going to get 3 health per stack, which means you're going to cap out at 450 health from stacks, but then you're going to get a little bonus every 50 stacks. At 50 stacks, you're going to get 10 defense, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it will make all of your health more valuable. So while you're getting less health from stacking, defense will make that health a little bit more valuable. At 100 stacks, you get 15 attack power, which does seem pretty low as a reward for 100 stacks. Keep in mind that you're still getting the damage bonus on your ultimate for these stacks. So when you're at 100 stacks, you'll actually be dealing more damage than you were last patch with your ult. And then at 150 stacks, you get 150 HP for a total of 600 bonus HP at max stacks. It's way less than you would have before. I think you would have been somewhere over 1,000 extra health. But again, don't forget you get that 10 defense, which makes that health a little bit more valuable. It's not going to be equivalent. You are going to be a little squishier, but you're not going to be squishy. You're still Xiukai. Early game, I think, is the biggest place you're going to feel this, since you don't have the added value from these stacks. So like up until you get to 50 stacks, especially, you're going to feel really squishy. And then I think from like 100 to 150 as well, you're going to feel very squishy compared to what you're used to. And then a compensation a little bit, the ultimate is gaining another stack, or another wave. It's still going to go out over 4 seconds, which means... So this is like kind of an interesting change to me, because just recently they nerfed stack damage from 100% stacks going to your ultimate's damage to 80%, but now they're adding another wave, which increases your ultimate's damage overall by 16.66 repeating. It's 1/6 increase. So that like almost negates that nerf, right? Because it's coming out in the same amount of time. So you're doing more damage in the same amount of time. It's not quite, like it's still weaker than before, but it kind of reverts that nerf a little bit. And then it's more waves in the same amount of time. And so recently they changed it from 6 times for 3 seconds to 4 seconds, making the waves come out slower. But now that there's 7, again, it's kind of partially reverting that. The waves are going to be coming out faster than they were before this patch. So it's like, is that enough to sort of compensate? Because you're going to be doing just as much damage from stacks. And then your ultimate has this extra wave. You're doing more damage faster with your ultimate than you were before. Plus that 15 AP, your ult will be doing a lot more damage, but you're going to be squishier. I'm kind of fine with that trade-off, honestly. Like, more damage is really good for Xiukai Ultimate. The other thing is, because cooking is faster, you're gonna have like an extra minute and a half of time that you're not spending doing cooking crafts, which is huge. Like, ask anybody who plays any character in this game if they had an extra minute and a half that they didn't have before. Like if a patch gave them an extra minute and a half that they could spend farming mastery or making transition pieces, that would be a massive buff. And it is for Xiukai as well. We're not going to be able to stack as much, but this is just another push towards getting weapon mastery for Xiukai, putting him into the standard healthy flow of this game. I think it makes him more accessible. Having a cap, players don't need to worry about if they're going to be able to hit 200, 250 stacks to perform on Xiukai. You only need to be able to hit 150 to cap out, and that's going to make him a much more accessible character for new players, which is really good because he's one of the least accessible characters in the game up till now. And I think it's a good change overall. But beyond that, since you're capping out at 150 stacks, once you hit 150 stacks, you don't cook except for healing, which you should have taken care of by the time you hit 150 stacks. So all that time past the mid game also becomes time for you to farm mastery, look for kills, make transition pieces, contest wick. Like, you can contest wick without worrying about whether it's worth it or not, because you can take wick and then go back to cooking and still hit 150 stacks. This change like allows you a lot more freedom in what you do during the game and when you do it. It might be a nerf a little bit, but it offers you way more options, and I think that's really good. Outside of that, there are some other changes this patch that help Xiukai. There is the being able to choose your weapon and save plan at the same time you pick your character gives him a nice bit of versatility. You can swap between spear and dagger based on the lobby you're looking at. It opens up more routes. You can use all 15 save plans to have options no matter what. That's so many options, more than you'll probably need. Very cool. Jackie got a bit of a nerf, a little bit less move speed on her W. She's one of our hardest matchups, so that's always nice. Rio got a bit of a nerf. Rio's main weapon got an early game nerf. Like, some of the characters that give us a tough time got a lot of nerfs. Dagger skill did take a bit of a pretty significant hit, losing a lot of move speed, actually, considering it's already been nerfed on the move speed before. And then having that crit confirm removed, it doesn't hurt us as much as it does Kathy, who it's definitely aimed at. But it hurts a bit. It cuts our damage a little bit. Adela caught a buff for some reason. Oh yeah, here's that Rio nerf. Ancient Bolt is now an Enad scaling weapon. Past level 16, it'll be stronger than before, but 1 through 16, it's going to be a little bit weaker. Or 1 through 15. Plus less normal attack amplification, so she's going to be doing a little bit less damage overall. But one of the other big things that really helped us was armor getting cut down, right? Rocker's Jacket, they got a couple routes where I build Rocker's Jacket, but not really. Amazonas getting 3% skill damage reduction taken off is really good. Amazonas is a huge counter item to Xiukai, so this getting nerfed is really good for us. Blazing Dress, ignore this. This is still a garbage item. Now that they've removed infinite health stacking from Xiukai, I would love to see them buff Blazing Dress now that there's not a situation where one outlier character will massively abuse it if they make it a little bit too strong. Right? Like, Xiukai is not going to be able to stack up 5,000 health and just destroy people by standing near them if they buff this anymore. So I would like to see them turn Blazing Dress into a viable item, since they've capped out Xiukai like that. The Nightingale is kind of funny. 20% increased recovery, that will apply to your boosted food. So like health potions will be over 1,000. Med kits will be like over 1,500 healing, but that's not, it's like an extra 260 health from a first aid kit over 15 seconds. And I don't think that makes up for the stats that you're missing out on by having this item. Like, it's not worth it. Maybe it would be worth like building on a Sacella who you're giving the Xiukai boosted food to, but like even then, I don't think so. Feather Boots ate a little bit of a nerf, which is nice, because auto attackers kind of tend to be counters to us because they build a lot of lifesteal and then they hit really fast and steal a lot of life and heal through our stuff. So that helps us a little bit. Let's see, Glacial's got a little bit of a nerf that's not really a huge issue for us. Mohawk headgear. I have some of my old routes where I built Moto Helm. I just build Mohawk now, and the fact that now it has thorns on it is really good. Like I said, auto attackers kind of counter Xiukai a bit with their lifesteal, and this is anti-lifesteal 100%. Not only are they taking damage when they hit you, but their healing is reduced by 45% when they hit you with an auto attack. So their lifesteal is less effective, and they're taking damage back from their own damage. This is really, really, really good for Xiukai, and you can just slot it into several standard Xiukai routes. It's really nice. Magazine, it's a little bit of a nerf, not a huge deal. Don't really build that. You'd rather have Schrodinger's box if you're going to build an HP accessory. It's more health, and it comes with flat amp. The new items are like not particularly great. Like obviously we don't care about this. This is interesting. 12% CDR is nice for us. And then the 0.2 move speed, and then deal a bunch of extra damage and apply a slow, which enables all of our other stuff on your next auto attack. It's interesting. It's an option. It's also got healing reduction on it, so if you have Crane Fan, you can replace it with this, and you don't lose your healing reduction, which is really, really nice. You lose the flat amp, but you gain 12% CDR. I think if you're going from Crane Fan to Sanguine Goombay, I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but I think that's a good upgrade, because it's also got the move speed baked in. Like, you're literally just trading CDR for flat amp, which is CDR is probably better for you at that point in the game. Now that we can contest Wick, this is actually an option, right? Like, that these changes open up getting VF Blood to make Queen of Hearts, or this new item, or getting a Force Core to make a Halo, or Auto Arms, or whatever. These getting buffed, whatever, it doesn't really matter too much for us. EMP drones getting their cast time removed. Maybe now that we have time outside of cooking, we'll be able to get stuff like this ready, get more cameras than we used to before, get EMP drones ready, and now that they're strong, we can use them to counteract traps much more effectively. Defense mastery kind of hurts us a little bit, because, we have a lot of health, so extra defense is extra good for us. We've got the most health. I think that's pretty much it, though. But I think this is a good change overall. It's seen as like a big nerf, but I think we're going to have to see it in play, and you're going to have to play with it in mind. You're not going to be able to play how you played before and just stack up. You're going to need to learn animal farming routes. You're going to need to learn what transition pieces you want to be getting ready. Now that you have this free time, you get to play the game like everybody else does. You won't have to spend the whole game cooking. Think about that. You actually get to hit a point, and it's like, okay, you don't have to cook anymore. Now you're just playing the game, right? After a certain amount of time, cooking sort of becomes work, but now it's just like a goal you hit, and then you're done. Like, before, you were constantly thinking, what's the most efficient use of everything I have to get the most out of it? Now it's just like, I want to efficiently hit 150 and then I'm good. Like, you don't have to worry about cooking past 150. So like, once you're there, you stop worrying about that. It frees up your inventory. It frees up everything, all your time, all your inventory space, your macro strategy, like everything is free for you to do what you want. So I know a lot of people are seeing this change and thinking Xiukai might be dead, but please give it a chance and try it out. I think this is a new life for Xiukai rather than Xiukai dying. And I think it'll be really, really good.